Hello there, Katrina. How are you? How are you? Thank you for joining me on today. I'm excited about you being here. Thank you for joining me as we get ready for this. Thank you so much. Hello there, Jackson. Hello there. How are you, Beto? How are you? Thank you for joining me. All me. She said, I just finished watching an old video of yours. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And Jasmine, hello, Jasmine, how are you? Oh, you such a sweetheart. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Y'all, we have something that we're going to really talk about tonight. You all were very interested in about the narcissism children. And then some of you that don't have children get into the childishness of the narcissist because sometimes with the narcissist, they are the child. And so you deal with those childish behaviors of the narcissist. So thank you for joining me. She said, I emailed you for a session and called you. You know what? I just got back into town. So don't despair. I will go back and look for that email. What email should I look for? What is the email that I should look for? And I'll go and get that email. I just got back and, hey, Christina, how are you? Yeah, I just got back in town, landing from Oklahoma. Hey, Danielle, how are you? Thank you so much. Can you see them? I don't see the comments. I don't see the comment. Katrina, Christina are greeting each other. Yeah, I don't see the comments, so you're probably going to have to end up doing it again because I don't see them. And I'm trying to set up here so I can see them. All righty. Thank you so much for joining me on today. Beto said, how was Oklahoma was the bomb. It was very, very good. The conference was very, very good. I enjoyed myself. I went there to work, but it was beautiful work. Katrina said, let me see, what did she say? She said, you just contradicted yourself. How did I contradict myself? Katrina, don't you start with me. How did I contradict myself? Lots of love. Yes, so I am so glad to be with you on tonight. It's awesome. You know, we were talking about the narcissist and how it is to have children with the narcissist or to literally have a relationship with the narcissist. Because many of you that don't have children with the narcissist was literally the child. She said, I see them now. Sorry for the interruption. No problem. You know, I am just trying to get a hold to the comments. So there you go. Discard. There you go. So I really appreciate you emailing me. And I read some of the emails, but I think it was Jackson that was saying she emailed me. She said, my mistakes. All right, Katrina. All righty then. Come on, let's start. Let's start talking about the narcissist. Some of you have dealt with the narcissist and you dealt with the childishness of the narcissist. Danielle said, Katrina, all is well now. Absolutely. And the narcissist was very immature in their behavior. And some of you even found out that the narcissists will actually compete with your child. The narcissist did not want the child, especially if you're in an extended family blended family, or even if the children belong to the narcissist, no one, not even God, get the attention of the narcissist. The narcissist always display a lot of immaturity. The narcissist don't want anyone getting the attention that they feel rightfully belong to them. And so they become very angry when the narcissists feel that you are getting their attention and what belongs to them. And they can cause a lot of disturbance in the house when the narcissists feel that way. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about those of you who actually have children by the narcissist, or some of you who are involved with the narcissist and you have an extended family. The narcissist during the love bombing stage act as if they really cared about you and really cared about the family. And the truth of it is the narcissist cared only about themselves. And as the relationship got more extensive, as the relationship got deeper, the narcissist displayed their behavior. Jackson said, that is so true. Jackie's Touch said, that is so true. Hey, Luke, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us. She said, Cree here from OKC. Hello there. How are you? I just left your country, your state, and it was beautiful there. I enjoyed the food there. Very, very hot there, but I enjoyed myself. So let's talk about it. So how many of you have actually had a family with the narcissist and had to deal with the narcissist? It's not always that there's a golden child and a scapegoat in the family. Sometimes there is no golden child, that the narcissists themselves, they are the golden child, and the narcissists don't want anybody or anyone competing against them. The narcissists don't want anybody taking up time that only belongs to them. And if you notice that when the narcissist feels threatened by your child, the narcissist will voice that and will cause problems, even to the point that if you don't give the narcissist what they want, they will actually start a smear campaign with the child against you and try to turn the child against you. Okay, yes, Danielle, we got 1 hour. She said, I told my mother I felt like that I was with a 13-year-old instead of a 59-year-old man. You know what all mean? Absolutely. Hello there, Kay Cole. How are you? Absolutely. Because the narcissist is very immature. Emotionally, they're immature. They have not matured to the point where they care about somebody else. They're totally selfish, and everything center around them, and what is not centered around the narcissist get destroyed by the narcissist. The narcissist destroys everything that does not have the totality of them in mind. They will destroy your religion, they will destroy your relationship, and they don't care about the child. The narcissists don't care that that's your child. The narcissists don't care that the child is 2 years old, 4 years old, 10 years old. And the narcissist doesn't care. And it can become dangerous when the narcissist feels threatened by your child, that the children are getting in the way of their attention. It can be very dangerous, and you can't underestimate it, because the narcissist is implodes when they have temper tantrums. They are self-concerned about nothing but themselves. She said, my narcissist spiritual mother is trying to destroy me. You have to make sure that does not happen. And so what you have to do is be wiser. Excuse me. Let me clear my throat here. You have to stay a step ahead.
Hi, my name is Dr. Fox, a licensed psychologist in the state of Texas.
You have to stay a step ahead of them. And what they do, you watch when the narc laws or the in-laws start to observe you with the kids. They notice the kids, they notice your behavior, especially if you're real close with your child. And it seems like they choose one, but they choose the one that is the weakest, that seem like they need the most attention. And the narcissist would take their attention and put it on that particular child, and that particular child become their target for division. She says, Jesus girl Betty, hello there, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us on today. And so what happens is some of y'all are getting ready, I know, to leave. Oh, thank you so much, Haka. It is so good to see you too. And so the narcissist, when you have a child with the narcissist, and some narcissists, if you notice that when you get with the narcissist, they want to get married right away. And then they want to move in. If they don't want to marry you right away, they want to move in right away. I mean, they don't give you a chance to almost even think about it. And they tell you all of the reasons why they need to move in with you. And so, as you allow the narcissist to move in with you, you notice one thing: the narcissist becomes totally involved with you and your child. I mean, everything about them is you and your child. And it seems like they care about the child. They're concerned about the child. They want to be with the child. This is doing the love bombing. But now you notice that that narcissist is actually competing with the child, or the narcissist is insistent that you get pregnant right away. They want a child. And the narcissists know if they get a child, they are always in your life for at least 18 years. And then if anything happens, they're going to drag you into all these court cases, and they start that parent alienation. They want to stay involved, especially if you good supply. They want that supply, and they want that supply involved, and they want you helpless. They want you surrendering everything you are to them. All of me said, yeah, my so-called Christian father wants to destroy me too. Are they both narcissists? Your mother, your spiritual parents and spiritual father? She said, wow, they all use the exact same playbook. They really do. They have different personality, but they do the same thing. This is why we can curtail the 9 traits of a narcissist, because it doesn't matter female or male. Now, especially if you get a female narcissist, and there are some female narcissists, they just want to be pregnant. But once the child grows up to about 2 to 3 years old, then they abandon the child, because that child start being totally dependent on them, and they want that child totally dependent on them. But once the child shows some independence, they take and forsake the children, and they would get pregnant 20 times just to keep that dependence. And so now they got all of these children in the house that they're being gravely neglected. And if those children get in the way, it can be very dangerous for those children, because the narcissist is so self-absorbed. So if you are dating and know that there's a narcissist and you have an extended family, please be wise. Listening to your child. When your child complains, don't throw off what they're telling you. Listen to what they're telling you. Absolutely, Goldie. Let me see here. The watchman said, hello, I am a man on your channel. Spoke to you a while ago. He said, and I'm dealing uh, with soon to be ex-wife. Thank you. Thank you. Good to be back. Long journey. You know what, the watchman? Absolutely. And one thing about a woman, to me, the female narcissist can be the worst, because as all the attributes of a woman turn inside out, they're the nurturer that turn to scheming and scamming. They're very detailed, but it turns to detail and wickedness. They have the ability to have the child, and they bond their child to their selfishness. The child don't know any other thing, because the child is born into that house, and once the child is born into the house, the child don't know that they're in a home that is totally self-absorbed. So the child get used to catering, the child get used to serving, and when the child get used to servant. That's the only relationship they know. And as the mother of the child start degrading the character of the father and pulling the child away from the dad because she caused a smear campaign with the dad, the child doesn't know why there's this disruption between the father and them because the mother takes over the relationship. Because that my dad tried to create jealousy between me and my sisters. Absolutely. Because division is powerful in the house of a narcissist. Because the narcissist wants total control. And children are so vulnerable. They are so impressionable that you can impress the mind of a child where it takes more work than an adult. The child just believes the parent because the child believes that the parent has their best interests in mind. And the child doesn't know that the parents is being selfish. So if your dad divide you and your sister, that sister is thinking that's the right thing to do, and that sister's thinking that dad is right. So this innate grudge is built within that child, and they'll grow up hating you, and they never know why they hate you until they realize what they were dealing with. And then when they realized they was dealing with a narcissist, that they was dealing with being love bombed, that they was dealing with being trauma bonded, because the narcissists love bomb children and they trauma bond those children. They trauma bond them to themselves, because when you get a child that loves a parent, a child will fight even for the abuser and want to be with the abuser, and they don't know any different. So they will stay there in the house of abuse, and then they themselves a lot of times turn into the abuser. All of me said my biological father has always secretly hated me and always humiliated me. She said, I'm the oldest of three children. She said, and I thought he was always right. And because he was a leader in the church, all those religious narcissists are the worst. You know why? Because most people believe that they're almost better than God. And whatever they say, church people have a tendency to believe that instead of testing that. And because they know that church people are vulnerable, and they get them into the worship, and they have a display, church display, then they have a home display. And of course, the church display is this harmonious, glorious leader, which at home they are they are total hellions, disrupting everywhere they go. And so the child is confused about what God is, because in the church, dad and mom look so holy and right. But at home, there's chaos in my home. And what they do is build that insecurity in that child. And what they do is produce knock frequencies. And so when you leave and you grow up, or as you growing up, you start attracting what you've been exposed to. And you start yielding and bending to what you are used to. And when you're used to abuse, it's nothing to find an abuser. You got the magnet for it. You have the frequency for it because of the kind of home you grew up in. So you would get some person to make sure that you're second. You'll get some person who makes sure that you have no value system within yourself, because that frequency has been built into you like a clock. And that frequency, when you go out, you can see this nice, wonderful woman, this nice, handsome guy. You will not gravitate toward them, because that is not the built-in system that you're used to. You're going to go for the gravely demonic, the gravely ill, the gravely toxic person, because that's what you've been calibrated for. And Jackie's touch say, the flying monkeys are now flying high. Oh my God. But see, you got to remember, a narcissist think. A narcissist observe you. Notice the narcissist. If you were a narcissist, if you move, notice how they follow you. Their eyes tell the story. They follow everything you do. And when you're talking and they are really interested in what you're saying, you should take a note of that, because the narcissist is interested in what you're saying, because they are making a file system. And that file system is to be pulled at a later date for use against you. And they'll notice you with your child. They are, like I said, that weak child or the child, because you usually have a child that seem to be needed. You know, you got the children that's independent and they start doing things on their self, on their own. They're progressive. And then you have this one child, every time you turn around, they need a hug. They need you to love them. They need you to affirm them. That's the one the narcissist is going to go out, because that's the easy kill. That's the easy take. Hey, Pinky K, how are you? Thank you so much. All is well. Thank you so much. Haka said, and makes jokes about pregnancy at me. They do, because they want you pregnant. They want you pregnant. A narcissist will load your belly with babies. Every time you drop one, he right there. You can't even get out of the hospital good before the narcissist telling you how low down you are for making them sexually starve, and how low down you are for not taking care of their needs. And they don't want you to do it in diverse means that can't impregnate you. They want you pregnant. They want the actual penetration, because they need to release seed, because the narcissist is in your future to make sure you are tied down, to make sure you don't leave, because they know they are cutting up. Phoenix says, so true. She's about the religious narcissist. She said, church members through my late somatic minister narcissist husband was one of the greatest men walking. Absolutely. Absolutely. They are charming. And I mean, they dress so well, they smell well, they look well. And the somatic narcissist is about imagery. So you know everything is together. You got to be together with them. Two things. The narcissists either want you so together, or they want you really untogether. Because sometimes if you get more compliments than the narcissist, it can be the red dress that look the best. And he'll tell you to wear the blue dress, because the narcissists don't want you to get more attention than they get. So the narcissist will tell you, put the blue dress on. I love the blue dress. Nobody compliments you with the blue dress, but they definitely would have compliment you with the red dress. And the narcissist is very competitive against you, is competitive with your children. The narcissist don't care about the age. If you got a child that needs to be fed every 2 hours, that the child is crying, especially if the child is colicky and the child is crying, it upsets the narcissist, because it's disturbing their peace. It can be a very dangerous situation. You know, when you have a malignant narcissist, psychopathic, sociopathic narcissist, and the narcissist, somatic narcissist that feel like the child is getting more attention than them, then they don't want that child. You know, you need to do something with that child. You need to be quiet with that child. You with that child all the time. You're just feeding the child like you're supposed to feed the child, and taking care of the child like a parent would. Hey, Grandma JJ, how are you? She said the narcissists that I had been around, she said, and have been envious and jealous of the children. Absolutely. And that's just a word. That's just a word. You know, if they know the child have allergies and the children are eating different foods, they would put that food on that child's plate and make sure they eat that food. And they know it's the allergy. The narcissists have a tendency to test the boundaries. And the boundaries is whatever takes the focus off of them. The narcissist is going to rave over that. The narcissist is going to make sure you're bewildered. And then the narcissist will build a system within that child of security factors, of fear factors. There are some narcissists that want their child so afraid until the child is just like you. They don't know whether to fight. They don't know whether to freeze, or they don't know whether to just flight. And so when they person come around, their whole body tense, and you may find the child urinating on themselves, defecating on themselves. The child just throws up, vomits for no reason, or the child eats, and every time the child eats, their stomach is upset. The child is nervous and jumpy and shaky, and you take the child can't sleep. In the night, the child is thirsty, and when you give them water, they only drink a little bit of water. The child is hungry because their food never really settle. And these are children like 3 to 5 years old that they know something is not right, but they're too young to solve any problems. And the narcissist is too selfish to really care. So you're gonna have some invasive maneuvers to get in there and help that child. Like Grandma JJ said, he was jealous of his own children. Is that Janae? Janae said, yep, they want you pregnant, even if it's life threatening. Yep, they don't care about that. She said, all the pregnant put so much pressure on me that I almost lost my life. They will take you there every single time. They will make sure that you get pregnant. They won't have anything done to them so that you could be safe. And they if they find out that you're taking some form of birth control, they will blow through the roof because they need you with those children, because first they want to lock in their supply, and not that they care about the children. And you can tell because when the children come, the narcissist is he's separated from the children. They're very far from the relationship. They don't really put in the children. And I'm talking about there are some narcissists that's going to make sure the bills are paid, because you do have narcissists are very responsible. They take care of the bills, they take care of home, but that's all they do. And they take care of that because they need a place to stay too. They need lights, they need food, so they're going to do that. But when it comes to caring for the child, and the doctor can say that, I do not advise for her to get pregnant because of preeclampsia issues or other issues that you are having, they do not care. They will threaten the doctor if they even try to fix you, and to prevent you from getting pregnant. They will want to sue. And so a lot of people have taken it on themselves and end up losing the marriage because the narcissist realize that with these children, that is my supply. Okay, and then we have Phoenix 33 said, yes, he could handle people loving, he couldn't handle people loving on me, from the church to his real estate office. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you are with a somatic narcissist, we know you're beautiful. The somatic narcissist, the only way he'll have a beast on his arm is he want to take away the praise from that person. But a narcissist will not go out unless that person is totally together, because the somatic is totally about image. And if the person they're with looks bad, it makes them look bad. So Phoenix 33, you have to be absolutely gorgeous if they are totally narcissistic and they're somatic in their narcissism, because the narcissist want people to rave over you. You became his trophy, and his trophy on his arm, he have the best looking woman, he have the most intelligent woman, he have the best shaped woman, he have the most successful woman. So everything with the somatic has to be narcissist, to be the most. And then when you have a child, you think about this beautiful woman, that child has to be gorgeous, and everybody rave on the child. That is the narcissist trophy. And it's really, 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 really elaborate when you're in the church, because a lot of church people will fail to challenge what is before them. And then we have Erin Rose Haka. She said, good thing you didn't have kids with a narc. Absolutely. Absolutely. Empath with an attitude. Okay, she retracted hers. Let's see, what else do we have? She said, Haka said, my mother doesn't pick at me for having children. She said, it's my dad. I think he's weird. Like, why is he so obsessed with me? You probably really don't want to know the answer to that. Be careful with that one. Be careful with that one. Because the narcissist can be incestuous emotionally. and some of them don't even have physical incest. They have emotional incest, and they intertwine themselves with your emotions because your emotions give them the fuel they need. So they make sure though your emotions are down, because when your emotions are down, their emotions are high, their emotions are up. And when they are really self-praising themselves because they're self-grandizing, and then when the more he targets you, so usually when a narcissist target a person, there is a strength in the person that intimidate that narcissist, and the narcissist want to tear it down, the narcissist want to break it down, so the narcissist goes after that strong person. And so how come I think you got some real power, some real benefits about yourself? And all of me said, my narc father said that his mother and father would leave him and his siblings home without food for a day while they were partying and other gross things. And guess he's not healed because he's still not nice. Unfortunately, in America, children have been really damaged. And that's why social services is at an all-time high, because so is narcissism is at an all-time high. They said only 6% of Americans are narcissism, and most of them are men. But what they're finding out is a lot higher percentage than 6%. And even though most of them are men, the women are coming alongside of the men being just as selfish. Now, what's really hard is when you have a selfish narcissist mother that actually have the baby, that actually carried the baby, and actually hate the baby, and is threatened by the baby. Because sometimes just the dependence on them when they totally need them, and they make that narcissist mother feel wanted and good and like she's the perfect person. She take the baby, take all the bad things away because she's feeding the baby, she's there with the baby. So the narcissists feel real good caring for the child and feel like they have some good in them. So that empty hole is cared for until the child no longer need breastfeeding, till the child no longer need them to feed them. The child now start being insistent because at a certain age, the child start going to independence. Then they get neglected. And that's when you see children in feces, starving, tied to bed, in cages. And it doesn't bother the parent. The parent will go and get another baby. And they have all of these children, and they get neglected once they pass the age of 2 or 3 years old. And so unless the child learn to be dependent, and you got some children that will stay on the breast once they discover that the parent is needy, because children are very perceptive, and they stay there because they notice that that's their safety factor, and they will be 5 years old still breastfeeding, still hanging on to the parent. And all of me, an empath with an attitude, said, she said, I went no contact with my mom. So she went through my child, knowing that I would do the tug of war so she could uh, be the victim again. And instead of fighting, I cut my child off and loved him too much to, whoa, to fight and play the tug of war. Yeah, well, you can do that once the child is older. But what happened when the child is younger? What happened when the child is younger? See, you have to fight for the young child because the child can get older. And sometimes we allow other folk too much responsibility and too much access to our child. And sometimes you just don't know what you're dealing with at a later time. You didn't know your mother was narcissistic. You didn't know your dad was narcissistic. You just thought they were just pure evil and toxic. All of that was true, but there was a reason, because toxic people can change, evil folk can change. But the narcissist does not have the change grid in their DNA. They want to stay the same. And only the miracle of God can change a narcissist, only. And that narcissist has to stay on track. Most narcissists don't the first time they get angry, the first time things doesn't go their way, the first time hardship hit. They always revert back to what they were. A. York says, good morning. She said that emotional incestuous enmeshment is serious business. Yeah, somatic mother, the narc. She said, enmeshed her cerebral narc son. She owns him, and he doesn't know. When you're dealing with in-laws that are having narcissist children that have raised them, you got to realize that they built an elaborate emotional grid within that child, and that grid is a built-in workable system that has been practiced for years, and it has become the pattern of their life. So when you enter as a stranger on a familiar road with the parents that have the narcissistic grid in the child, it can be very difficult. Even when that child is an adult, the mom or dad still have the power over that child. And when they call, the child coming. It's like crack cocaine. You know, crack cocaine, they tell you when you get free, that crack calls you back. And many people who've been free of crack said the crack has a voice. And once you hear that voice, you start to line up. It's like being hypnotized. That hypnotism bring you back to that grid. And that's the way it is with the parental aspect of the narcissist mother or father. They bring that child back to that grid and cause your life to be a living hell, because you never ever have a personal relationship with your husband or with your wife. It's always a threesome or a foursome in case both parents are narcissists. A. York said, that's true. Mama JJ said, York, she said, I have seen that very situation myself. Absolutely. She said, big time. It's sad. Sandra said, it kills your spirit. You don't feel alive. She said, and that is for all victims of all ages. Absolutely. They're death angels. They move. They have contact with humans. They have contact with your emotions, with your mind, with your dreams. But every time you connect with them, they're like bats. They're going to drain the life out of you. They don't know to do anything else. And they always need fuel. They always need energy. They are not like a bank where you make a deposit, you make a withdrawal, you make a deposit. No, it keep withdrawing and withdrawing and withdrawing and withdrawing without a deposit. And even when they love bomb, the love bomb is not to put into you. That's why a lot of narcissists, they will buy the kids toys and buy the kids pizza until next thing you know, you got a competition with your child. They'll make your house look like it's the house of lack, while their house look like the house of plenty. And they will give that child and buy that child until that child wants to be with them away from you. And it's buying, not love. And you cannot get into that emotional competition, because it's not going to help the child. It's going to cause the child to be manipulative. Sandra's empath with the attitude said, my grown son is now got close to my mother. She said he's locked up again. She said, and I was not so supportive as my narc mom used that. Yeah, unfortunately, that is empath with an attitude. That's really unfortunate. And especially you being an empath, they know you feel everything. And empath learns not to take responsibility over everything because it's not your fault. And see, one thing about your grown son, you didn't know how to deal in the younger years. So the pattern was built in, the system was built in, the grid was rigged. And so now they're older, they're gravitating back to what they know. And you can tell where the strength is, because the strength is the gravitational pull, like gravity. They pull on them, and they'll pull them right out of your arms, right out of your house. They will pull on them right into their arms, and they will use that fuel until they get discarded. Then they want you to have them, and then they get hoovered. Then they want them back. Christina said, you know what cartoon had knocked parents? She said, do you guys remember the family, the odd parents? She said, it's old, but think about it. She said, how mean and abandoned Timothy's parents were to him. She said, now that I'm older, it's like oh, snap. Absolutely. That's good. Never even thought about that one. And Angelique says, very true. She said, was like that with me, she said, seemed like that I was obligated to be nice because it was mom till was 30. Whoa. And then Aaron says, ex-husband Narc had emotional incestuous relationship with his Narc mother. She said, but I won with full legal and physical custody, documented everything. You know, if you got a good lawyer and you go through parent alienation and you go through a court trial and you have a good lawyer that gets you those children, because most narcissists don't want the kids, they just make sure you don't have them. And those children that is in the hands of a narcissist go through tremendous turmoil. You're talking about trauma bonding. It breaks them down until most of them that grow up as an adult, they're very suicidal. They have mental issues. They're always with a counselor. They can't keep a job. They can't register in reality. They're out of touch with themselves. They go from one narc relationship to another. If they're empath, most of them venture off into suicide unless they can get with an older empath that will train them and teach them and where they can learn about themselves. The empaths are out there and they are reaching for the younger empaths to raise them up. And we're not talking about empaths that went to the dark side. We're talking about the empath that stayed on the light side, because sometimes you can hurt an empath so the empath flip inside out, just like the narcissist, and they become the dark empath. They got all their sensitivity, all of their highly heightened emotions and everything, but it's for the wrong reason. Now they're on the opposite side and they are trying to make everybody pay for what happens to them. But those empaths that are sound, those empaths that are raising up other empaths, and they're taking the empaths that have children, they give them a sense of stability, they give them a sense of equality emotionally, and they can take and raise their children up away from the narcissist. You cannot do this with the narcissist, because remember, the narcissist is unchangeable. They are who they are and they stay who they are. We have Kiss by Dark, the SK. She said, hi, Mom Helen. She said, I'm sleeping in my car. Ooh, because of the narcissist. She said, I am running until I'm completely lost. You know what, Princess? Yeah, I hate that. I hate that you don't move from a home to a car. That show you how the narcissist doesn't care. Are there kids involved? Are there kids involved? Hypergamy. Are there kids involved? Kids by Dark, SK Hypergamy. Are there kids involved? We're going to have to see how we can get you some help. Danielle, could you make a note of that? Could you make a note of that? And I know that you are in Dallas, but we can't let that go. Let's see what we can do about that. We need to find out where she is. We need to find out what programs where she is are available for her, and see if we can get some emergency shelter. She said, yes, my mom hasn't called me or my three siblings. God told me at the age wasn't obligated to allow abuse for her to abuse me verbally. Absolutely, you don't have to, even though it's a parent. See, you grew up as the child. Children of narcissistic parents go through a real regimen to function in life, to function in the reality after being so tortured and so abused. Your emotions, your thoughts, your passion, your desires, I mean, ripped like you rip a shirt, and it's ripped every day for months, for years. That can be tremendous. And then have to make it so. Angelique, I think you did an awesome job to make an NC decision, a no contact, and it's for your survival. Danielle said, thank you all so much for subscribing, family. She said, you are helping the world at large when you share the channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So those of you who have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, take the time now and go subscribe. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you push that bell. Every time I upload content, you will be notified. And when I'm out of town, I travel a lot, and I travel in country and out of country. So, but if you push that bell every time I come on, like I did the video while I was in Oklahoma, and those of you who was subscribers was notified immediately, were able to get on. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Pinky Girl said, are you going to do another empath conference anytime soon? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And we're going to go deeper. We are Pinky K. And Terivia say that my whole family, my mom, made sure I didn't get my kids. She said, and the way they talk to me, she said, I don't have nothing to do with none of them. She said, and I've been outcast for life. That is terrible, to birth something you can't hold, you can't love. But the narcissist doesn't care. And that's why I'm glad I'm doing this video. And I'm glad that we are here, because people need to hear this. There's a lot of people going through with their kids, and they feel like they're all alone. They feel like they don't have anybody to talk to. They feel like there's nobody to understand them, and they feel like something is wrong with them. There's nothing mentally wrong with them. They are not out of their mind. And when you come on here and say what you're saying, you're letting them know you are not alone. There are other people, and I made it. You can make it. And I'm telling you, no matter how hard it gets, how tough it gets, you can do this. ICDT, I can do this. ICDT, you can do this. And you can make a decision that I refuse to be misused or allow my children to be misused. And sometimes you have to make the hardest decision there is to make. And that's to leave your parents, to leave the in-laws, sometimes to leave the spouse itself, so that you can have the peace and your children can be safe. Because your job, as much as you know, as much as you can, is to protect those babies. Empath with an attitude said, I went to the shelter this year. Wow, she said, gave my place to take care, not mother. She neglected. She reneged. I went to the shelter, got a housing voucher, and would help with the move-in costs. Oh, good job. Good job. So make sure, Danielle, that we got the young lady that was talking about sleeping in the car. Yes, it's been 2 months now. She's and a friend told me that especially when set apart, true, many are. I'm trying to read Angelique's, what she was saying. And PK said, yeah, I am ready to go deeper with learning more about being an empath. Oh, you are so powerful. You are a powerful being. And I'm telling you, God knew what he did when he made us empath. We are big girls and we can handle it. Once we find out the power and the anointing that is on the inside of us, we are movers and we are shaker. And all of our scars become our best weapons. And I'm telling you, everything you've been through, and I'm talking to all of you right now, everything you've been through is going to be your best weapon, because once you come out of the classroom with a narc, there is no other training like being able to make it through the classroom, because a lot of people did not make it. A lot of children did not make it. A lot of spouses did not make it. But when you made it, don't ever take it for granted. You thank God every day, because I deal with it on every level. And I done dealt with thousands. I dealt with people who didn't make it, children who didn't make it, kids that was found because of the narcissist or the narcissist mom or dad. But you are making it, and you have power within you to influence without, and you're going to do just that. Teresa said, she said, it got so bad that my sister-in-law turned into one of them just because I told her to leave my brother. She acts just like them now. Yeah, that's illegal transference. She's just doing things to be accepted. But a narcissist is not flippant. You know, you just all of a sudden turn to a narcissist. You got to have a tremendous amount of stress and torment to do that. So she's choosing to take that pathway. Angelisa, what God called you, set you apart. She said, that's what my family treat me, although they pretend to like me. She said, but the anointing, notice how it stay away from full of a family full of narcissists. Absolutely. Mahogany said, I used to dream of two snakes back to back. And she said, God was showing me that it was my mother and sister, and it took a long time to understand. I told my mother I dreamed of snakes, and she said her too, she lied. Well, as the narcissists build themselves, they real a rapport with lies. And if the lies gonna get them what they want, they'll tell it without a blink of an eye. Without a blink of an eye. And that's why I'm telling you, those of you who have children, do not take that lightly. You make sure that you are aware. Thank you so much. Empath with an attitude. I really appreciate that. She said, one question, why am I no longer reacting to what normally would make me violent? She said, it's a low blow to go after my son. And son, she said, you think it shocked her? She said, I've been trying to heal codependent trauma, depression, PTSD. She said, I give up these family broke me. She said, and can't heal like this. She said, and I have one who helped single mothers, sensitive living in fear. I'd rather not live. You always have something to live for. We are powerful, We come out like Clark Kent, but baby, we are really super people because they couldn't break us. You're not broken. You're hurt and you're pressed down, but you're not broken. You have an opportunity to get up again. And one thing about an empath, don't you ever think an empath is just this weakling little something walking around in the earth being misused and lack calibration in life. That's not the empath. The empath is what the world needs to help it heal. They need an empath. And without us, they don't heal. Without us, they don't get the help. Without us, they don't get the mercy. Without us, they don't get the care. You are more powerful than what you went through. You met a narcissist. You probably had a frequency. You didn't know you had that frequency. And you drew to yourself what was within you. And now you go no contact. You clear those frequencies. You demagnetize those frequencies. And the power in which you become, you would be like me. Everyone that is going through, I'm reaching for them. I'm believing for them. I'm praying for them. I'm going to teach, and say it until they are free, until these eagles get off the ground and they fly. Honey, you got a whole airway waiting for you to fly. Empath with an attitude. She said, Danielle, I need to hear this tonight. I am so grateful. I am so glad, empath. I am so glad. She said April 24th she said in the be on person. She said, I've been telling her the same thing for 24 years, leaving. Baby girl, you can't tell people to leave, even though you know it's right. I did a video when the suppliers had enough. I really recommend that video. I recommend it. You can't tell them to leave. They have to come to that conclusion. They have to surmise that it's worth the freedom. Because if you tell them to leave and they leave too soon, many of them go back. And it's always worse when you go back. And sometimes many of them don't make it out the second time. What you do is give them the information, let them see the information, and let them make the decision. Because a Hoover is powerful in the mind of the weak or ignorant. Because they'll go back to the same kind of tragedy, and it's worse. They got out the first time. Many of them don't make it the second time. So let her decide. Give her the information and let her decide. She said, my plus size grandmother. All righty. She said, I'm really working with my granddaughter's 5 through 10 years old. She said, who's being influenced by my narc mother, who is 92. Ugh. She plays nice old lady while programming them not to listen to their mother or me. 92 years old. That means you got a decision. Don't take them around them. They don't have to be around their grandmother. Being around grandmother is a choice. Being around grandmother is a privilege. If you don't act right, you can lose the privilege because you got a 5 and a 10-year-old. They can be traumatized, and you don't want that expression transferred to them. Where grandmother lives on, but she lives in two girls because you all didn't take her away. She don't have to visit just because she's grandmother. When grandmother damaged the kids, they shouldn't be around grandmother. You want to go around grandmother, you go around grandmother. But you take those kids away and you let them grow up into the success that is meant for them to have. Kids by Dark SK Pergamy say, I don't trust anyone anymore. I see motives, no longer people anymore. No, don't say that. No, let me say this. Absolutely. I think you can trust everybody. You said, what? I do. I think you can trust everybody. If they show you they're devil, you believe them. If they show you that they're loving, you believe them. Maya Angelou said, when they show you who they are, believe them. You can trust the snake to be a snake. You can trust the elephant to be an elephant, but you can trust a raven to be a raven. Whatever they show you, trust them to be what they're showing you to be. Because the one thing about it, time will unfold it. They can only last covered up and a camouflage for a minute. So you can trust people because that would damage you. That would stop you. It's not going to hinder them. So you're going to have to stretch yourself out, stretch your mind out. You're more than a painful experience. And you done made this experience your whole life. That's not your whole life. It's a situation in your life. It's part of your life. Look, I'm a witness. Everybody here on this, in this room is a witness. Everybody on this port is a witness. We can do this. ICDT. We can do this. I'm going to get this t-shirt made, guys. And I want you to buy this t-shirt. ICDT. I can do this. You can do it all day, every day. Honey, you didn't break me. You probably bent me, but I was able to straighten back up. I was able to walk out, and I'm able not to look back. I ain't going to look back at your rusty tail. Come on now. She said, please replay the video when the supply has had enough. Absolutely. Absolutely. Please go to that video. Okay, guys, we got 10 minutes. Let's make these 10 minutes work. She said, thank you. She said, why do we want these toxic family? People say you can't. She said, label people, narcissists, as Jezebel. She said, if you hurt or if you triggered by them, it calls you to heal to the point where no one can affect you. Let me tell you something. Don't you listen to people. When people tell you that you cannot identify what is coming up against you, the devil is a liar. What are you talking about? If you come, if I'm crossing the street, I see a car coming, I'm gonna stop or run across the street. I'm not gonna stand in front of the car and let the car hit me. That's crazy. Let them misidentify. Let them no longer identify. But if you come like a train, I'm going to identify that train. You identify what is coming to you, what's coming against you. You call it. You call it so you can know it. You know it so you can prevent it. You prevent it so you won't get hurt. And when you don't get hurt, you'll come out. And when you come out, you'll grow. You'll grow from it. You're going to be stronger psychologically, emotionally. And what was meant to break you only bends against you, baby, but you were able to rise up. You're going to be like the beauty queen you are or the beauty king you are. Just because things come up against you don't mean life is over for you. It could be the introduction to another place, an introduction to another strength, the introduction to another level. Come on here. We can grow from this. Just because you came in and shacked up my life and messed up my life, and now I've come into the realization in locating you and your character. Oh yeah, we can identify this and we can rectify. Because if I can identify it, I can get a strategy for it, and you're going to get a strategy for it. Mahogany says my narcissist mother had adult kids for her cousin. Whoa. She said my golden child sister, one of her legs is deformed. She said, and my mother blames me for it. And I'm not taking that burden. It's not mine. Girl, bam, high five. Absolutely. She know it ain't your fault, but she wants you to take it. Because if you take that burden, you will live that lifelong. That's life sustaining. That's life invitation. That's an impact on your mind. You're not responsible for her legs. Come on now. Sometimes we got to stay away from poison. If you can get away from it, get away from poison. Get where you are celebrated, not just tolerated, not where you're just abused. Because one thing about abuse, it's like going down in the basement. It can go as deep as you let it. And if it goes too deep, baby girl, just like it goes deep, that's how deep it is when you got to go get it to come out with deliverance. Don't let that stuff in. Because if you let that stuff in, that's the depth of how it has to come out. And nothing is impossible, but some things are avoidable. Because when I find out that you the fool, come on, I'm not going to be with you. I prize myself too much. And you got to prize yourself too much. Don't listen to haters. Don't listen to foolishness. Protect yourself. Success is yours. Life is yours. And life is so huge. And it has your name on it. Girl, guy, this was just an experience. This was not the whole deal. You are the deal. You are. You can come through this experience. You can walk through this experience. And if you want to cause a narcissistic injury, grow, succeed. Because narcissists hate to fail. They'll know I didn't kill her children. I didn't kill her. I didn't drain her. I didn't turn the children against her. I didn't gain her. No, 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 no. You did not. You were a professor that was temporary, and your time is up, so you got paid. And it's time for me to move on because I got paid. I got paid with the wisdom, I got paid with the knowledge, and I got paid with the strength, and it's time to move on. Wow. Uh, Danielle say, kissed by the dark, don't forget to reach out by email to contact the information. Absolutely. Make sure you give us that information. I want to know where you are. And that is, who is that, Angelique? Oh, Kids by Dark SK Hypergamy. Hypergamy. I need you to make sure that you write me. And I'm going to have to go through my mail. So, Danielle, on this one, I need you to stick with me. Because let's see what we can get for her. Because you shouldn't be living in a car. And you dare not go back. Because he put you in a situation and he know it's desperate. And what he would try is a hoover. Because he know that you are desperate. And you think he ain't going to come around? Oh, he going to try to come around again. But you won't need him. You won't need him. You won't need to go back to torment to have a place to stay in. You won't need him to go back to torment to survive. You won't need that because what he is a boa constrictor. He's going to sap all the air out of you, all the oxygen out of your lungs. You will suffocate with him no matter what situation you're in. We have made it in some dire situations and you're going to make it because we are with you and we are behind you. She said, I've never not reacted. I took the loss for the first time in 40 plus years. She said, and I don't care about the gossip. She said, I walked away. Mm. She said, and I think that's OIF war veteran. And she said, this war with the narc mom has nothing on Iraq. Girl, high five all over again. Boy, I'm telling you, you all, I am so proud of you. You know that? I am so proud of your fight. I am so proud of your stance. The next time we come on, if you're not on Clubhouse, I want you to join on Clubhouse. Make sure you go on Clubhouse and follow me. Follow me on Clubhouse. I want to hear your voice. I want to hear you. And Clubhouse will provide that for us. The next time I come on, we'll come on here and we'll come on Clubhouse. All right? Kids by the Dark, she said, I am getting better sleep in this car than I did in that environment. I believe that. I believe that. Lou said, amen. She said, I feel like I have relived the Vietnam War. Believe it. We understand. Baby girl, we understand. We know. We know. And when you tell your story, you don't even have to do a lot of explaining. We know the deal. That's why we're there. And we are there to hold your arms up. We're there, girl, to tell you you can make it. We're there to tell you you can do it. And the Watchman, we can tell you that you can go farther than you've ever dreamed. And that this lesson that you learn is going to be for your strength and for your benefit. Well, my time is up. I want to ask if you have questions for me, you can put those questions down and Danielle will catch them for me so I can answer. So if you have any questions pertaining to this subject, I want to stay on subject. I want to stay on target because kids are suffering. And, you know, the Child Protective Service can only do what they can. Unfortunately, when you have fertile women and crazy men, this can happen. And those of you who went through it and went through it through your children, and like Teresa said, she even lost her children. You know, I hate, my heart goes out to you. I can only imagine the pain that you went through, the suffering that you went through. But I can definitely imagine the strength that is ready to embrace every place that you are, every step that you are. God will make sure that you are restored fully. And he will calibrate your life where the narcissist know he can't touch that. And he will be so, because narcissists are afraid and they feel with insecurity. They are not gods. And sometimes we made the narcissists as if they're invincible. They are not. They can break like everybody else break. They can lose it like everybody else can lose it. We just won't. Let me get these final words. Angelique said, thank you, praying for everyone going through healing process. She said, get stronger. No, she said, no, you deserve better. Luke said, I am now more present than I've ever been. Oh, wow. I can hug you for that one. She said, everyone is sitting better and better for me. Thank you. Every day is getting better and better for me. She said, I listen to you about people showing you who they are, who they really are. Absolutely. And when people show you who they are, believe them. You know what? I always love being with you. It's always a blessing. I am so privileged to have you on. Thank you so much for joining with me. And thank you so much for being with me. I want you to know that I don't take any of this for granted. Thank you. All right. My moderator just told me my time is up. Those of you, Dr. Bryan is in Dallas. She has Zoom. If you can be with Zoom, you can go on her timeline, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Get your ticket to get on Zoom. If you can't be in Dallas, get on Zoom and be totally blessed by her. She's in Dallas tonight. My moderators in Dallas. So thank you so much. She said, what if someone kids a narcissist? I got a video dealing with narcissistic kids. That means the parent is going to go through. And a narcissist kid is still a narcissist. They're still self-indulgent, self-involved. And so maybe we'll do one on that where you'll know, but go, I did one on narcissistic kids and kids that have grew up in the adult from being a narcissist. So check out those videos. I love you. Please play them over and over again. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. Make sure you push that bell. And remember, if you're not a part of Clubhouse, join Clubhouse so that we can elaborate while we're on here and we can hear you and spend time with you. You're going to make it. You're going to make it. And Dark Kiss, you're going to make it. You're going to do very well. Make sure you email me. Let's see what we can do. I love you to life. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye, Luke. Bye, A. York. Hugs and kisses for all of y'all. I love you, and I'll see you on the next video. God bless everyone.